Welcome again, everyone, to the ARC 26th Annual Forum. It truly is great to see everybody face to face. We've been at home for far too long. It's nice to wear long pants as I live in Boca Raton. This year we're doing some new things at ARC, and we have a renewed focus on energy and transition, and particularly sustainability and ESG. So this really is our first pure session about sustainability. I'm very happy that we have a broad variety of speakers and panelists today that truly represent a very broad perspective of sustainability and even ESG reporting. But before we get started, let's lay out a little bit of foundational information. So I'm Jim Frazer. I'm the Vice President of Smart Cities here at ARC Advisory Group. That practice includes building automation, utilities, vehicles, public infrastructure as well. So I think the question we're all asking ourselves is, how can we all be a better environmental steward, personally as well as our organizations? Well, but to answer that question, it really is required to drill down to some pillars so we can start measuring things. Because as they told me on that first day of engineering school, if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. So just a quick review that the three pillars of sustainability are social, environmental, and economic. So simply stated, the environmental pillar is preserve and enhance the natural environment. Number two, the social is preserve and enhance the human quality of life. That's a broad and somewhat nebulous term, but it includes everything from a safer crosswalk or a safer route to school for children to a better, vibrant job and economic climate for citizens and residents. Now, the one we often don't talk about, but we know intuitively, is the economic. Because if we can't find a sustainable way to pay for this, and if we can't find a sustainable financial model, one and two are simply not going to happen, and it becomes simply an academic exercise. So it's important to really commit this to memory as perhaps the most foundational piece of sustainability. So how to rate sustainability? Now that you have at least those three concepts memorized, just a few points about ESG and rating systems. ESG rating systems really have risk at its core so that you can minimize financial losses, or at least predict them and find ways to minimize them. Practically speaking, what does it mean? It means lower capital costs and lower insurance costs, among other things. And those are things you can take to the bank. Increasingly, environmental, social, and governance criteria are used to screen investments based on corporate policies and to encourage companies to act responsibly. And not just companies, but also public agencies as well. Of course, we know mutual funds and hedge funds are increasingly relying on ESG criteria. They also can help investors avoid investment losses when companies engage in risky or unethical processes by holding them accountable. So what is ESG's foundation? You may have heard that, for example, S&P's ESG ratings matrix actually includes in excess of 450 questions. All of those are scored. And after the result of some complex math, you get a number. But early on, before ESG became even a term, there was a lot of steep pestle analysis. And basically, there were five concepts underlie human factors, and whether it be the impact environmentally, socially, or economically. Political, economic, sociocultural, environmental, and technological. This is typically, and it's inherent in doing an ESG analysis, a sustainability analysis, or what came before for a decade or two, which was steep analysis. I had mentioned the rating systems often include hundreds of rating criteria. So if you were around 10, 20 years ago looking in this ecosystem, frankly, the most frequent acronym was STEEP, that represented socio, technological, environmental, economic, political, human factors. So let's quickly look at these domains and reduce them from the 50,000 foot level to really things that touch us every day. So all five of these do in fact overlap. So let's quickly look at social factors. There's a lot. This list actually came from some work I did with Qualcomm about 10, 12 years ago. And it's a list of social factors that underpin sustainability, and arguably many of these concepts work their way into those ESG questions from rating agencies. Similarly, economic factors, aging infrastructure, the support of small business, city identity and city marketing, economic growth, skills shortage, employee shortage. All things that really are, need to be woven into whatever concept you're attempting to promote, under a sustainable ESG framework. Technology factors. We're here at the ARC Forum. These are well known to our community here. Cybersecurity, digital twins. Environmental factors. Water is increasingly an issue worldwide. Green infrastructure, heat stress and heat islands in many built-up cities. All that concrete does in fact hold heat, and we're seeing microclimate changes because of that. Sea level rise. And lastly, political factors. How much public space should a public agency dedicate to the citizens? What about building standards? I live in Palm Beach County. Well, we have hurricane-proof windows. They're pricey, but they protect you. Other parts of Florida don't have that. Policing, increasingly a large issue here in the United States. What type of leadership? What about transparency of your public agencies and your leaders? So all of these are very impactful and really are the granular piece of what you need to do as you build that ESG sustainable evaluation matrix.